Good evening, and thanks so much for staying there on News at 10. My name is Bright Nana Amfo. The bulletin is live from our studios here at Kanda in Accra and also live on 3FM 92.7. Remember, you can be part of the conversation. Send your views and comments to our social media platforms on Twitter, News on TV3, and on Facebook, News on TV3. Let's start the night with some highlights of the day's news stories. And beginning from the eastern region, there is an easy calm at Yilo Krobo district of that region owing to irregularities in electricity billing system. We're told the residents have kicked against a move by the traditional council to allow ECG to commence work if their bills are not withdrawn. The impasse between the people and ECG led to the burning down of a police station in that part of the country in May this year, and so the people still insist the ECG should do the right thing before resuming work. Now moving on, and the river bodies used for irrigating seed gardens by Cocoa Board in the Bunsu Cocoa Station in the eastern region have been polluted by galamsey activities. We're told that this has consequently affected production, reducing the annual yield from between 800,000 pots to 450,000 pots. This is a threat to government's intention to yield 1 million metric tons of cocoa. We're still staying with the agriculture because contrary to the Food and Agri Minister's assertion that the fall armyworm has been defeated, farmers in the northern region say the worms have rather multiplied. The farmers claim government is downplaying the threat posed by the fall armyworm. The three northern regions reporting more of the armyworms in that part of the country. Now let's jump to the Ashanti region. Erosion is threatening the livelihoods of people of Kotokum, a farming community in the Achuma and Punwa district of the Ashanti region. The onset of the rains has worsened the plight of residents who are being displaced as a number of houses are on the verge of collapse. You can see the pictures on your screens there. Houses, the one single stories have now become two-story houses. And finally, on the international front, unidentified gunmen have attacked the rural home of Kenya's Deputy President William Ruto near the western city of Eldoret. Local reports said assailants overpowered the police officer at the gate and entered the compound. Gunfire has continued at the house, which is surrounded by police. Mr. Ruto was not at home when the incident happened. We're told that this incident is happening when Kenya is just about some 10 more days to hold presidential, legislative, and regional elections. If you're watching us from Bolga in the Upper East region, if you are with us from Kintampo in the Bonafo region, if you're watching us from Winneba in the Central region, this is your show. Let's start with a big one. This is how we're starting tonight. Trafficking in persons is a serious crime and a grave violation of human rights. Now, every year, thousands of men, women, and children fall into the hands of traffickers in their own countries and abroad. Every 30 seconds, we're told that someone is trafficked globally, and 27 million men, women, and children are estimated to be victims of trafficking worldwide. The following News Desk report takes a look at the world's war against human trafficking.
July 30 has been set aside as the World Day Against Trafficking in Persons, and it was proclaimed by the United Nations General Assembly in Resolution A/RES/68/192. Almost every country in the world is affected by trafficking, whether as a country of origin, transit, or destination for victims. Every 30 seconds, someone is trafficked globally. 27 million men, women, and children are estimated to be victims of trafficking worldwide. The U.S. Department of State Office to Monitor and Combat the Trafficking of Persons has described Ghana as a source, transit, and destination country for men, women, and children subjected to forced labor and sex trafficking. Ghana is ranked a Tier 2 watch list country in the 2017 Trafficking in Persons report released by the United States government. Ghana did not meet the 4 standards to end human trafficking in 2016, but has shown that it is making significant efforts in that direction. Over 30,000 children are believed to be working as porters or kai in Accra alone. Both boys and girls are trafficked within Ghana for forced labor in agriculture and the fishing industry, for street hawking, forced begging by religious instructors, as porters, and possibly for forced kente weaving. Boys are trafficked for hazardous forced labor in the Volta Lake, while girls are trafficked within the country for domestic servitude and sexual exploitation. This year, the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC, has chosen Act to Protect and Assist Trafficked Persons as the focus of the World Day. It is therefore imperative to raise awareness of human trafficking and the protection of victims' rights.
And tomorrow is International Human Trafficking Day. My guest in the studio is the Public Relations Officer of Sewa Foundation, Che Bafo. Good evening.
Good evening.
Grateful for your time. Let's start from here. So we're told that every 30 seconds someone is trafficked globally. How serious is the situation in Ghana?
Right. Thank you very much for such a fantastic opportunity. And let's say a very, very good evening to your viewers as well. Indeed, the issue of human trafficking is more than serious. To say serious is probably an understatement. The issue is that most people are ignorant when it comes to what human trafficking is. They simply don't understand what human trafficking is. So even if the person is being trafficked, he's not even aware that I'm even being trafficked.
That what he's doing is illegal.
It's illegal. I'm even talking of the victim.
Okay.
Most victims do not even know that they are being trafficked at any point in time. Let's be guided by the definition of the United Nations. Then we get how the drift moved.
Right.
If you assess the documentary so right, you understand that one, it has to do with recruitment, transportation, transfer, harboring, receipt of persons by improper means. There are 3 basic things that work as far as human trafficking is concerned. 1, it has to do with the act.
Right.
2, it has to do with the means. 3, it has to do with the purpose. So you have recruited somebody. By what means? Coercion. You deceived the person. I want to offer you a job A, B, C. And when you go, you are going to be paid such and such an amount, so and so amount. I got there, it's a totally different case altogether.
That is trafficking.
That is trafficking. And what is the purpose? The purpose is that you want to exploit the individual, either labor, sexual, whatever it is. Once you have deceived the person, it's trafficking. Now, the problem we are having in Ghana is that most people are not aware. And even those who are aware, because of the factors that come to play, 2 basic things, pull factors, push factors. Of course, I am in my village somewhere. I have given birth to like 9. Sometimes I have like 11. I'm well enough to even produce some form of assistance to the national team because of the number of children I have. So if I cannot cater for these people and somebody comes, branding himself like a good Samaritan, saying that I want to help, we now willingly give out the children, not knowing exactly what is going to happen. They communicate to us that probably they are going to enroll the person in school and help. Once they come to the city, it's a different thing altogether. That is the internal form of trafficking we really have in Ghana.
Right.
So most people are taken from smaller towns and villages, brought to the city, and they are used for all kinds of activities, which the original intent for which they came has totally changed.
And so these people are not aware, and you've mentioned 2 factors, the pull and the push. So, for instance, like you said, the economic factor is very key in here. If we talk about the situation you've just mentioned, those from rural to urban centers in Accra.
You see, one thing is that when you consider the very economic factors, you come to also assess the point from this view. When you consider the pull factors and you consider the push factors, you come to realize that somebody feels that based on the communication I've had with somebody, it appears that there are some better opportunities somewhere. So, and anybody can be trafficked, including yourself. Because somebody comes and says, right, you are very good. I've been seeing you on TV. You are doing well. I think you can do better in BBC. I have opportunity to take you there. Now you stop whatever you are doing. This is not somebody, this is not an ignorant person.
Right.
You know what you can do. He says, I can take you to BBC. Now you come to realize that you travel, you get to UK, and it's not BBC.
I see. If this is a situation, then it means that efforts at reversing it or stopping it is indeed Herculean, I guess.
4 things, we call it the 4 P's, as far as human trafficking is concerned, the 4 P's. 1 has to do with prevention. And that's exactly what we are supposed to do and what we are doing.
How do we prevent it? Let's talk about the first one.
You see, I love the way almost all stakeholders channel their effort and their arsenals as far as the issue of galamsey was concerned. When it becomes a national cancer, we decide that we are combating it, then we do it holistically. Everybody should not be concerned that this is something we need to fight. So in prevention, awareness creation is key. And we don't just sit in Accra to create awareness. We know where the people are coming from. Various villages, some regions are dominating as far as this is concerned. So it's expedient, it's prudent enough that you go to those places where people are being picked from, where they are taking them. That is prevention.
Letting them know.
Letting them know some of the effects. Those of us who have probably traveled to those places where their kids are taken, those of us who have, we have an idea what happens to them in Accra. When you go, you tell them that the kind of information they bring you,
it's right.
It's not what.
What is the other P?
The other P is what we call protection. Some of them are already victims. What do we do? How do we protect them? We have been to Kuwait. When we talk of the transnational trafficking, right. We have been to Kuwait. And it's not a matter of somebody telling you we have been there. We have seen it all. We know what is happening there. How do we prevent Ghanaian nationals there? What should the government do? People are suffering. Unfortunately, when we went, we did not even see just Ghanaian nationals. There are other nationals who are there. Yet they were receiving best form of treatment.
Compared to
Ghanaian nationals. And the dichotomy is simple. You can feel that some particular nationals, their country has simply structured things so well. Their labor ministry, whatever they also call it, as we call ours here, have structured things so well. There's a bilateral agreement between both governments, and they know that
your suggestion ours is not good. Our arrangement isn't good. That's why our guys
I doubt even if we have any form of arrangement. I doubt if we are going to have any form of arrangement.
So that's a government issue.
That's a government issue.
What is the third
protection?
P?
The third P has to do with prosecution.
Who do we prosecute here?
Perpetrators. It's a big time business, right? Human trafficking is a big time business. Now, if you take away drugs, I can say without fear of favor, it's one of the most booming businesses all over.
You're talking about the several agencies we see around. We can prosecute them?
This is where sometimes
some of them fake and others.
We have over 300 agencies in Ghana responsible into this recruitment business. Only 54 out of the 300, only 54 are registered. Even with the 54, sometimes I have a simple question for them. Even with the 54, you sit in Ghana, you recruit people, probably you have license from Ghana, Labor Commission, whatever, you recruit people, you take them to Gulf countries. Are you aware exactly where they are going to work? Have you been there to see? They told you that I have so and so company, I have company A, company B. This is the kind of environmental situations we have. They are coming there to work. Indeed. Have you been there to see? This is where deception comes in. So you think you have secured job for somebody. And I tell people, you see, trafficking is a very simple issue. You told me that when I come, I am going to present the news. Now, when I came, you asked me to stand behind the camera.
Okay.
You have deceived me. You said you give me 5,000.
So the final P?
The final P has to do with partnership. Partnership. You are getting almost every stakeholder on board. Media, non-governmental organizations, government, everybody.
To deal with the situation.
To deal with the situation holistically.
Protection and then again prosecution. So that's governments expected to do that.
Of
governments. I'm not talking about governments.
Of course.
But we don't seem to get them to doing it.
The issue is that even trying to get perpetrators is very difficult. We sometimes you know them, trying to get them is very difficult. And you see, it's quite dangerous. Sometimes you dig deeper, especially those of us coming from a non-governmental organization background. You dig deeper and you go to realize that the kind of man behind this whole agenda is probably, if you don't get the necessary support, it's a no-go area.
You can't touch him or her.
Some obviously, if not government coming in, it's untouchable.
But if that is the situation, can we win this war?
Every war can be won depending on the kind of arsenals you marshal to face that particular battle.
Which ones should we put together now to fight this war?
All hands on deck.
Everyone involved.
The last P has always been my greatest point. Partnership. Everybody, starting especially with the Labor Commission. You are giving license to people. Most of our girls are going to the Gulf countries, and we know this. God knows this when we did our research. Sometimes a particular day you are seeing over 30 people flying from Ghana to Kuwait. Flying from Ghana to Kuwait, going almost every single day. When they go, what kind of environment do they go in? This is modern day slavery. When you go to Kuwait and you see them being packed from the airport to their waiting point, wherever, where they wait for people to come, negotiate on present day human being, 21st century human being. Negotiation ongoing. I want this, you can see the muscles and everything. The person fits better to work for me. And the person is being kept indoors for 2 solid years. Anybody who travels to the Gulf country, especially in Kuwait for visa 20, you stay indoors for 2 years.
Let's wrap up our conversation. So partnership, you think, is what will work. How do you convince the partners that indeed coming together is a solution?
Thank God tomorrow is World Day Against Human Trafficking. And the best we can do is that people must know the tremendous effect that human trafficking is even having on the economy of this country. Some countries are benefiting from labor. We are not. We are just dashing out our human resource to other countries. We are not saying it is not good to go out and work. There are better opportunities out there. But should government come and structure things very well, every individual that moves out of this country to work, going through the labor commission system, we know that we have this certain number of people there. We can gain a penny from them. We can track and even know that these people are working. Ghana can benefit. So tomorrow we just have to use the opportunity to invite everybody. Appeal. Everybody should come for this lunch. Tomorrow is going to be massive. Trinity Baptist Church, just opposite UPSA, engine filling station, right in front of Ideal College. By 5 p.m. we are there. We are inviting all the human resource persons you can ever think of, both the police, immigration, especially Labor Commission, Gender Ministry. They are all coming. Honorable Sadiq Abubakar Boniface will be the guest of honor to come and address us. Thank you.
Grateful for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for speaking. He's a public relations officer of the Sewa Foundation. Tomorrow is a launch, and guess you have to be there. Partnership, he says, is a solution. Let's step on the brakes for now. When we come back, there is more. In some other news tonight, the Institute for Fiscal Studies says the prospects for the economy in the remaining half of the year look promising. The executive director, Professor Newman Kwejo-Kusi, said the revenue shortfall in the first 4 months of the year led to expenditure cuts, which affected capital expenditure.
At a media briefing in Accra on the state of the economy, the institute indicated performance of the real sector of the economy during the first quarter was mixed. Real GDP grew by 6.6% year-on-year in the first quarter of the year, compared with 4.4% recorded in the same period last year. The fiscal performance in the first 4 months of the year, revenue fell short of the budget estimate by 2.3 billion cedis, representing 17.1%. Executive Director of the IFS, Professor Newman Kwejo-Kusi, was of the view the drastic cuts in government expenditure affected the much-needed capital expenditure.
The expenditure cut affected the much-needed capital spending, payment to statutory funds, clearance of arrears, as well as spending on goods and services.
On the public debt stock, which stood at 137 billion cedis as at May, Professor Kusi said the argument should be shifted to what the money is used for.
If the money that you borrow, which creates the debt, is used to finance projects and activities that over time will generate income to service the debt, then there's no problem.
On the IMF, Professor Kusi indicated government needs to continue to the end of the program.
Some of our development partners always look at the relationship that the country has with the IMF and the other multilateral institutions, such as the African Development Bank and the World Bank, to determine the disbursement of the financial support. So, with or without a program, the interaction between the government or the country and the IMF will have to continue anyway.
IFS observed there was macroeconomic stability during the first half of the year. Director of Research of IFS, Dr. John Kwachi, explained the fiscal consolidation is even stronger than projections made by the government.
We will have to recalibrate the program, and the government must sit down with the IMF and agree on, the exact targets. But given their performance in respect to the budget so far, even maybe the government is far ahead of some of the targets.
The institute indicated the need for government to introduce additional measures to enhance the revenue mobilization efforts. IFS also encouraged government to expedite action in paying regularly for goods and services supplied to public institutions and arrears in order to solve the problem of non-performance loans.
The fight against forest degradation in Ghana has gained a major boost following the inception of a new monitoring technology under the Forest 2020 project. The project, in partnership with the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology and Ecometrica, will monitor every activity within Ghana's forest zones via satellite for prompt and effective response.
Even though frameworks have been developed to help countries protect and restore their forest resources, inadequate monitoring systems remain a barrier to effective implementation. And these technical barriers are what Forest 2020, a UK Space Agency's international partnership program, seeks to address. The 5-year £152 million program, designed to partner UK space expertise in emerging economies to deliver a sustainable economic and societal benefit. Forest 2020 aims to protect and restore up to 300 million hectares of tropical forest by improving national forest monitoring systems in 6 partner countries through better applications of satellite data. It will also help build and add value to existing systems and initiatives. The project will also improve accuracy and frequency of land use maps, methods to distinguish tree crop and natural forest, as well as improve capacity to map out extent and dynamics of mangroves.
If we are able to tell that somebody is illegally harvesting trees, probably close to water body, and we are able to stop that, then of course that water table will be maintained and will continuously have the water in good quality.
Cross-cutting outputs are essential for longer-term impact and future funding and covers all sectors of the forest industry.
This particular program is supposed to help us to be able to get accurate and timely information to be able to put in interventions to be able to protect the forest.
Other partner nations are Indonesia, Brazil, Mexico, Colombia and Kenya.
Now let's go to the northern part of the country, and contrary to the Food and Agri Minister's claim that the army for worm has been defeated, farmers in that part of the country say the worms have rather multiplied. The farmers claim government is downplaying the threat posed by the fall armyworm.
On Thursday, the Food and Agriculture Minister, Dr. Ifriya Koto, told Parliament the fall armyworm had been defeated.
The fall armyworm invasion has been defeated by the government.
But contrary to that, farmers in the northern region are saying the worms have actually multiplied ahead of the new planting season. Apart from battling climate change, farmers are battling the fall armyworm invasion of their farms. The hungry pest arrived in the country last year during the harvesting of crops by farmers. Farmers say they have sprayed their farms several times with the recommended chemicals, but the worms keep multiplying. They are employing new tactics in fighting the pest using other substances like pepper, salt, washing powder and herbs to fight the fall armyworm. Farmers say they are yet to benefit from the government's free chemical distribution. They want the Food and Agri Minister to turn his attention to eliminating the pest in the northern region.
Now let's go to the eastern region, where there is an issue come in the Asiedu-Dartey district over alleged irregularities in electricity billing systems. We're told the residents have kicked against a move by the traditional council to allow ECG workers to commence work if their bills are not withdrawn.
Workers stationed at Asiedu-Dartey ECG have resumed work, but they still feel unsafe operating in the area. The two parties, the Asiedu-Dartey Traditional Council and management of ECG, met to find lasting solution to the problem to enable ECG resume operations. A memorandum of understanding was signed in setting the deal. After that meeting, the youth and some residents of the town also kicked against the move. They said overbilling must be investigated, or possibly a cancellation of all outstanding bills in the community, since that was what caused the confusion.
And then we are here, there's a peace pipe. There's peace pipe. The pipe is leaking. So you see, you be very careful to enter Krobo town. No, they should hold on for the meantime. If not, we are taking the case to court.
But the traditional council and elders also disagrees.
You are alleging that you have been overbilled. An avenue has been created for you now to go there with your bill to demonstrate to ECG that you have been overbilled. For ECG to tell you that you have not been overbilled. This is the opportunity. So the issue they raised has been addressed.
That notwithstanding, ECG says the prolonged issues will affect the company's output.
We are putting an elaborate plan and measure just to address that. We've been working all this time over the past 2 months, interrogating the bills and making sure that their integrity is good.
Owing to the situation, the police have beefed up security to ensure safety.
The police were here to protect everybody, not even the ECG workers alone, but everybody, every worker in the Somanga, they are being protected by the police. So we are sure that they will go about their duties and report any threat to their life to police and go to their aid very fast.
On May 26 this year, irate youth of Asiedu-Dartey attacked ECG staff in the district and vandalized property in protest against what they alleged as overbilling of electricity in the area.
And we're grateful that you listened to us on 3FM 92.7 and you watched us on TV3. And of course, my team in here, called Johnson Virtue, and Felix Azaglu, my cameraman Ben and Hansi, Ebenezer Tete and James Tete, grateful for the good work. And of course, Ben Mensah, Albert Mensah and Joseph Amoncho. The whole show was put together by Salom Amenya and Ebenezer Lekum Wati. My show director was Brenda Dugan. My name is Bright. Now, have a great night.